Hey guys! I hope that you guys are doing amazing in the world. My name is Shikha, as always, and I'm so grateful that you guys are on my channel, listening, subscribing, commenting. I appreciate the support. In this video, I wanted to speak to you guys about how INFJs absolutely dislike it when people are excluded in any shape or form. It is one of, I think, one of our biggest pet peeves is when any person on this planet, no matter who they are being excluded from society in general or from a group in general because of something about them. Or just in general, they're just excluded because that's it. That's what people do. People form cliques and then they exclude people who they think they don't belong into the group, right? Now, there's a huge exclusion going on the planet right now. I know this is a very political topic, but I do want to bring it up because that's what is one of our biggest pet peeves. And if I don't bring it up, I would be foolish. And basically, it's the idea of detention that's happening in the US right now. All of these children of immigrants are being detained in these concentration-like camps away from their parents. And some of the stories that I'm hearing about it just is absolutely horrifying. And it just gets me so angry and so riled up. I actually feel my blood boiling when I think about it. Even right now, I can feel myself getting angry and I'm like, don't get angry. This is just a video. But that is what I'm saying about exclusion. This is just, it's a major topic in the world right now. And a lot of people are adamantly angry about it. But this is an idea, or this is an example of the exclusion that happens on a daily basis in everyone's life, right? I mean, it's very common for people to exclude other people based on certain random characteristics. It might be because of race. That's used to happen a lot in the past. I'm sure it still does. That's racism. It happens where like blacks were segregated from the whites, and South Africa was a big one for that. Apartheid was the one, I think, the term for it. And that happened in the South as well, in the US, where blacks were used as slaves. Even brown people, I think Indian people were used as slaves as well. And they were used to till the fields and work on the fields. And so that kind of exclusion happened a lot in the past. And now there's a lot of exclusion in terms of sexuality. And you notice that a lot where sexuality and color still, in the US, color is still a big thing. But in the rest of the world, there's a lot of exclusion based on sexuality. So if you are gay or a lesbian, or if you belong to any of the LGBTQ community, then there's a lot of discrimination against those people, and they're being excluded from normal society because they're weird or diseased or different, or there's something wrong with them, or that's what the people think, right? And as an INFJ, I think we have experienced so much of this exclusion as a child and as a teenager that when we actually go into the real world as an adult, when we see this kind of exclusionary behavior, it really irks us. It is actually one of those things that as an INFJ, as a human being, I cannot bear it at all. I could bear anything else on the planet, really. And I can stand there and be like, all right, cool, that's fine, it's happening, okay, just be calm, it's okay, don't worry about it. But when I'm sitting there and there are a couple of people or a group of people excluding a certain person for some random characteristic, it doesn't really matter. They have glasses on, or they're brown or black, or they're Asian, or they're wearing the wrong kind of shoes, or they don't have brand name clothes on, or they went to the wrong school, or they're from the wrong country, or I don't know, whatever it might be. There's so many stupid reasons people use to exclude other people. When I'm sitting there, I just think to myself, what kind of childish games are you playing? What playground are we on right now? And how old are you that you need to do this in order to make yourself feel better, in order to put yourself on a pedestal that doesn't really exist? It does not exist. You are not different than anyone else. You might be different in a way where like you have different characteristics, yes, but that does not give you the right to put yourself higher than anyone else. No one is better than anyone else, and no one is worse than anyone else. Everyone, in my opinion, and most INFJs will think this way, are equal. They're just equal. Everyone on this planet has equal footing. And I'm not saying just about human beings, animals as well, right? Like, they're not inferior beings just because they don't have a big brain like we do, or consciousness in the manner that we do. They still should at least have the same rights. Same thing with plants and any kind of living creature, right? bees, especially right now. We're on the brink of endangering ourselves because we're not taking care of the bees. How stupid of us, and how idiotic of humanity in general. But that's what I think when I see people behaving like that. I'm like, are you an idiot? Are you being foolish deliberately? Is this something that you're doing intentionally? Because I don't want to believe that people would do that intentionally. I want to believe that they've been conditioned by society somehow, by their parents or their family members or the world that they live in. The people in the US right now, they're doing this kind of thing and supporting this kind of nonsensical behavior. I want to believe that they're not doing it because they're idiotic in some manner, or they're hating the people. It's just because of the conditioning that they have had over their lifetime that tells them that immigrants are bad, that they're taking away their jobs, that immigrants are the worst thing on this planet, especially immigrant children. Now, I don't understand why the children have to suffer in lieu of the parents, of the parents being immigrants. I don't understand that part, or being refugees. That really irks me, because why does a 2-year-old or a 4-month-old baby have to suffer because of something that their parents did? How is that logical? I just don't get that. Anyways, I'm not going to get into that. But that's something that INFJs do dislike, this exclusionary sort of behavior, which happens quite often around us, right? And one of the things that I'm always trying to do as an individual on this planet is to see if there is any kind of exclusionary behavior going on, that I at least step forward and give my hand to that person who's being excluded. It doesn't matter who they are. It might be a group that I'm part of, and I love every person in that group, and they're all friends of mine, but for some reason they're excluding these couple of people or this one person. I still love my friends. I'm sure they're coming from a place of, I hope that they're coming from a place of non-intentional behavior. Like they're coming from a place, they don't actually know that they're doing it, perhaps, hopefully. They're not hopefully deliberately doing it, because then they wouldn't be my friends anymore. But sometimes, we do stupid things without even thinking about it. But my role, I believe one of my roles as a being on this planet, as a spiritual being, is to extend my hand to that person and be like, all right, yes, perhaps you're being excluded a little bit here, but I'm here for you. Let's chat. Let's have a conversation. No need to worry. I'm still here as a human being, and you're still part of my society, no matter what happens with the rest of the world. Right? And I'm not saying that this makes a big difference in any shape or form. I'm not saying that I'm changing the world in any way, but for that individual in that point of time, I believe that it makes a big difference. And I think that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this video. It's not that I'm saying that everyone should go out and include everyone. I mean, it would be nice if you guys did that. But I want you guys to think about it in a conscious fashion. Why would a certain person, what is it in the world that would ever say that a certain person has to be excluded for a random characteristic that was genetic or was given to them by their parents or just happened randomly, right? I mean, I know that when I was a child at school, people who had glasses were shunned by the people who did not have glasses. And it was a nerdy thing. If you had glasses and braces or anything like that, you were a nerd and you were ostracized by all the cool people in class, and you had to hang out with all the other nerds who had glasses or the other people who weren't cool. And it was just a weird thing to me. I'd be sitting there as a child thinking to myself, what does the fact that my eyes are weak, and genetically weak, because obviously that has to do with genetics, what does the fact that my eyes are weak have to do with anything regarding coolness, right? I mean, obviously that's shifted now, and now men with glasses or women with glasses are hot, and they're considered to be nerds, and nerdiness or geekiness is cool all of a sudden. A lot of it has to do with shows like Big Bang Theory and all that. But this is just it. All of a sudden the society has changed their opinion, and all of a sudden people with glasses are cool. Whereas when I was younger, 10, 15, 20 years ago, it was not cool. And so everyone shunned me for it, right? It just doesn't make any sense, where this random characteristic that has nothing to do with anything, doesn't have anything to do with the personality of the person or how nice they are, how kind they are, what kind of a human being they are, right? It doesn't have anything to do with that. Again, the same thing with the color of a person's skin. It has nothing to do with their personality. A person might be white as pure as possible, right? They might be the whitest person on this planet, and they might be the most horrible person on this planet too, right? It has nothing to do with their skin color. It has nothing to do with it. I'm not saying that all white people are pure and all black people are not, or all black people are pure and not all white people are not. It has nothing to do with color in general. It has nothing to do with that kind of characteristic. Right? And so I, as an individual, and INFJs in general, we focus on the characteristics or personality of a person, the soul of a person, basically, rather than their physical, genetic-based characteristics. Right? Because it has nothing to do with that person in general. Right? The person might be tall, but they got those genes from their parents or from the hormones that were in their food. It has nothing to do with them, right? And so I want to focus on characteristics that come from within an individual, that they have worked on building themselves, right? Everyone is building characteristics every single day. But I'm focused on those characteristics that people are building from within themselves. Their kindness, their generosity, the way they treat the people around them. If they follow the golden rule of, treat others as you want to be treated. And things like that, rather than, oh, how beautiful are they? Or what kind of clothes are they wearing? Or do they have glasses or not? Or how straight is their hair? How curly is their hair? How natural is their makeup? All of that stuff that I don't really give a rat's ass about, right? And so I wanted to do this video because I think it's our responsibility as an INFJ to remember that we see the exclusionary tactics that people are using. It is our responsibility to step forward and give our hand to that person who's excluded, because no one else is actually noticing it, I don't think. And if they do notice, most people are not brave enough to step forward. So it's your responsibility as INFJs out there to go and extend your hand to that person and say, I'm here for you, even if no one else is. I'm going to sit with you and I'm going to talk with you, and you're going to feel less alone, less lonely, because that's our role on this planet. Again, maybe this video is a little too serious at times and a little too political, but I think it's important to talk about these issues. I don't want to hide away from them just because someone gets offended. If you do get offended, don't message me about it. I don't want to hear your political opinions. That's not what the video is about. It is about the fact that people are excluded, and that's wrong. If you have any questions about this video, you can message me anytime by emailing me. Only email. I only take questions by emails now. And if you are interested, you can support me on Patreon. My Patreon link is in the description below. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.